I mean, your garage door's groan signals trouble ahead. Ignoring it could lead to costly repairs or even accidents. But don't worry, Precision Garage Door has your back with their Safe and Sound package. Enjoy a 25-point safety inspection, performance tweaks, lubrication, and a detailed diagnostic report, all for just $79. Keep your garage smooth and secure. Visit PrecisionDoorNC.com today. That's PrecisionDoorNC.com.
Life can be hectic, but Northwest Ace is here to help you tackle any project with ease. From expert advice to top-notch supplies, they've got everything you need. Why run around when you can measure twice, shop once, and get it right the first time? As your friendly neighborhood hardware store, they offer instant savings for members right in the store. Visit Northwest Ace at 3450 Robin Hood Road in Winston-Salem, online at northwesthardware.com. Northwest Ace, the healthful place.
Transform your home with elegance and durability. At Heritage Hardwood Floors, they offer exquisite flooring options that complement any season. Plus, refinishing of existing hardwood floors is their specialty. With Jesse's craftsmanship, Catherine's business savvy, your dream floors are a step away. Their expertise is matched only by their passion for quality. Elevate your space with Heritage Hardwood Floors. Online at heritagehardwoodfloors.ws. Heritage Hardwood Floors. When it comes to flooring, they have no ceiling.
Waking Up Prowled on WSJS.
Watch out, I'm coming for you now.
Fueling fans, flavor, and fun.
Wake up, I'm trying to fence around.
The morning show that's always on the prowl is served up by Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey. And by High Point University, the premier life skills university and ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review.
Make way for the king.
This is Waking Up Prowled with Stephen Beck.
They've already been the story of the NCAA tournament with national headlines and a primetime second-round game now coming up on the way tonight. Will it be another high point for High Point this evening? It's Waking Up Prowled, and I am back here with you on WSJS. WSJS.com is the best place to stream us. Take us on the go, because then you don't have to worry about that little dial on the radio. We also have a phone line that if you just want to say what's up this morning or be a part of the show at any point, you can. That's 336-777-1600. You can also follow along with me at Stephen Beck TO or our station here at WSJS Radio to keep up with myself and whatever we have going on. Plus, hey, if you are interested in some giveaways, just go to our website. The Spring into Winnings is there for you now. Plus, I can probably always hook you up as well. So Wake Forest baseball's out there. Sometimes there's concerts from Live Nation. That's a part of things. So just touch base and be a part of Waking Up Proud, hanging out with me. Foster Hobbs Coffee as well. If you're streaming the show on YouTube or on X, you can see that. It's a big Saturday because March Madness is ongoing. Our High Point Panthers, and I say our because, of course, Triad-based team, but yours truly, an alum. I'm amped and pumped up about what they've been able to do thus far in the NCAA tournament. And speaking of the Panthers, we're going to have athletic director Dan Hauser join us in just a little bit. Live from Portland is how I caught up with him. He was in his hotel room just after the Panthers came away with a huge upset against Wisconsin earlier this week. We're going to have some stuff from head coach Flynn Clayman as well that sparked a lot of conversation, both locally and internationally. And then there's a gentleman by the name of Scott Newton. He's based here in the Triad, actually a pastor at Hope City Church in Walberg. But Scott, little do some people know, is also an avid golfer. He's played professionally. His sister has played on the LPGA Tour. His sons have both played collegiately. He's got a niece that's supposed to be really, really good at the game. We had the pleasure of having him on a podcast earlier this week called Between the Shanks. If you're into golf, you can always find that at teedoffsports.com. But he told us a couple of stories. One about Tiger Woods from way back in 1999 that really I thought was interesting because he has a firsthand view of just really a golfer that, he's probably the best of all time. I don't know, Jack Nicklaus and Tiger, you know, that debate could go on much like LeBron and Michael Jordan. But seeing how Tiger Woods played up close and personal, we all don't get to experience that. Plus, there is also a story about Bubba Watson, who is on the Live Tour, and how kind and generous he has been to Hope City in Wahlberg. I thought both of those were really interesting to hear. So we'll be sharing that with you. There's also a Pollen capital here in the Triad. That's right. I woke up this morning and hopped in my truck, started to pull away, and that little green fuzz is already on the the exterior windshield of the truck. So we'll share that story with you. Plus, an ambulance was stolen in North Carolina. I mean, we got all sorts of stuff, but just a couple of hours to squeeze it all into. So I'll be going rapid fire as usual and hope you'll stick with us. Let's get back, though, to the story that really, if you followed myself, you've been a part of Waking Up Proud, you would realize that High Point University is a great supporter of this program. I'm an alum. I used to work with the basketball team well back. I've been on that bandwagon in days where it was games in the Millis Center, players like Jerry Ishaniqua, Stone Hawker, Issa Conair. I mean, these are guys that everybody's probably out there scratching their head right now, listening to me like, what is he talking about? Yeah, that's how long I've been a part of this thing. And so you can imagine the excitement level I personally had as High Point got an upset win, a 5 seed beat by a 12 seed. The Panthers beating the Wisconsin Badgers. And since that time, it's not just me that's been trying to feed the beast anymore, where I'm like, you got to follow High Point. You got to hear about what they're doing. I'm sharing the coaches and the athletic directors with you. It's not that way anymore. Now everybody's jumping on this thing. Chase Johnston is a guy that I need to know about. Oh, who is this guy named Rob Martin who's lightning fast with the ball? It was the first win for the Panthers in NCAA tournament history ever. This is what it sounded like if you missed it.
Here comes the long ball. That's what Wally called for, but it is intercepted. And High Point, the Panthers, the 12 seed, continue on as they upset the Wisconsin Badgers 83-82.
Chase Johnston, who has hit, shots like he did in this game. There was a logo 3-point shot that looks like a rocket shot out of a cannon that has been playing on reels and on replays. And of course, everybody's talking about how he had not hit a 2-point shot all season until he makes the winning layup for High Point. Well, now he's on a trading card. Topps came out and said, we want you to be on a trading card. I think this morning on Fox and Friends, High Point University head coach Flynn Clayman was a guest. I mean, everybody is talking about our local Triad-based team because they had been 0-57 against Power 4 opponents before this game. Now they're 1-57. Yesterday in the NCAA tournament, as many times as most people that like college basketball love to see a Cinderella team. We like to see the higher seeds get beaten and these no names come out of the woodworks, and all of a sudden they are the story of the tournament. As much as we like to see that, yesterday all the top ranked teams advanced for the most part. All the favored teams for Vegas advanced. I mean, I know, you got Villanova and you got Clemson losing. I mean, some of these games that were 8-9 matchups, you could look at and be like, whoa, wait a second, the favorite didn't win that. But for the most part, it was all chalk yesterday, as they may say. And so, again, High Point remains to be that story. Now, afterwards, you could tell Coach Clayman, he was pumped up about this victory.
Your first NCAA tournament game, Coach Clayman.
It looks pretty obvious to me that high majors need to play mid-majors during the season because they said we ain't played nobody. We played somebody now.
How'd you do it?
Feels unreal because I know how good of a team we had, but nobody would play us, just like they wouldn't play Miami, Ohio. But they got to play us in this tournament.
Coach, you were down by 10 early on. What changed?
We just settled in. We settled in. We got a hell of a team. We settled in.
Bedlam. And that's in Portland. I'll tell you, if you heard something similar, it was probably coming from from High Point, 26265 zip code there, because I was screaming, I was jumping, my dog was barking. I mean, it was craziness. Now, a part of what he said there, though, which kind of sounds like a WWE wrestler in his post-match time with a reporter and be like, hey, now we've played somebody. Everybody's got these questions. He put more meat on that in more of a calm post-game official press conference that's now sparked off a lot of discussion in college basketball about mid-majors not being able to get very favorable schedules.
Coach, congratulations on a great win, for adding some madness to the tournament, and begin with the opening statement.
Yeah, tough to even put into words what just happened. Couldn't be more proud of this team. In the summer, when we get those shot tracker numbers back, and there's 63 schools in the country that have it, and we're number one every week in shots taken, they could talk about whatever we have, but we're working. We're selfless. And it's pretty obvious to me that something needs to be done about this non-conference scheduling. High Point and Miami, Ohio are 2-0 in quad one games. We couldn't get games. They couldn't get games. Akron couldn't get games. UNCW couldn't get games. Belmont couldn't get games. We won 22 of our last 23 games, and we didn't move up one spot in the metrics. Not one. We won 22 of our 23. We've won 25 games by double digits. That team right there is a fantastic team that beat 5 top 10 teams. If we can get games like this on neutral courts and some home games, I think we'd know who's really the best teams. I'm proud of these dudes, and we're not just here to win one game. We're here to get to the Sweet 16.
Those comments by head coach of the Panthers, Flynn Clayman, after this upset win, and they've been misconstrued a little bit from assuming that Coach Clayman is saying like, hey, the blame is on the Power 4 teams for not wanting to schedule these mid-majors. Well, no, the blame doesn't really sit on the Power 4s. They're doing what's best and what's in their best interest for their programs. The blame really is over the whole, I guess, college athletics setup when it comes to metrics. So there's got to be a governing body out there that, much like all the other problems with NIL and transfer portals right now, somebody from the top coming down has to work to make a change. And that change looks like incentivizing a Power 4 school to take a flyer and try to schedule a mid-major. Because right now, it doesn't set up that way. High Point's a quad 2. Quad 2s, they're in no man's land. Nobody wants to play them. You'd rather play a quad 1 that benefits your resume or a quad 3 because it's a locked up win. Now, 9:45 tonight, High Point University, they got another game. It's Arkansas in the NCAA tournament round of 32. We're going to hear from head coach John Calipari coming up here on Waking Up Proud. I'll give you thoughts as to what it will take for High Point to win a game like this, get another upset. Plus, we've got some all-tournament team names for the NCAA tournament. One of them actually is on this High Point team, except people swung and missed on it. More on the way, Waking Up Proud on WSJS.
It's time for
Heart-pounding action.
crossover, step back.
Buzzer beaters.
3 seconds, a bucket layup, good! At the buzzer!
Cinderella stories.
And the fairy tale ride continues.
Championship dreams.
At midcourt, extra pass. And it goes for the win.
Every moment, every game, every upset.
For just the second time ever, a 16 beats a 1.
March Madness lives right here on WSJS. Powered by Piedmont Trucks, built for the drive, on the court and on the road. By East Coast Wings and Grill, feeding the madness one wing at a time. And by Crossroads Ford in Kernersville. Fast brakes, fast trucks, built for tough. The road to the championship runs through WSJS and WSJS.com.
High Point University. The premier life skills university is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-705-9484. 800-705-9484. 800-705-9484.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey Griffin. Get your work week started the right way. During Civics 101, we'll catch up with the Mayor of Burlington, Beth Kennett. Dan Sellers will be here with Storytime Weekend Review. Hooray for Hollywood with Alec Hodges and a whole lot more. Have a good one, and we'll see you Monday morning at 7 on Triad Today.
Where Carolina sports meets Carolina flavor.
Wake up out of bed and claim it. It's all waiting for you now. Say it.
You're waking up Prowl with Stephen Beck.
Saturday AM spent with me here on WSJS, Waking Up Prowled. I'm Beck at Stephen Beck TO on X, at WSJS Radio. And anytime that I'm live, if you want to jump in and hang with me this morning, comments, thoughts, questions, they're welcome. 336-777-1600. I'll tell you this. Got something fresh and new on the way on WSJS starting on Monday with myself as well. So we might even share a little bit of that. It's honestly fresh breaking news coming up in just a little bit. Right this second, though, let's get you set and ready for your day out there.
Hot off the Prowl with Stephen Beck.
Aside from the NCAA tournament and those High Point Panthers that we've already shared with you, here's some other top local stories of interest. Like this time of the year when the climate starts to change a little bit, you have cold air that rushes in, you have warmer air that's out there and around. What do you expect from that? Well, it's probably storms. And heavy rain and severe storms have triggered some flash flooding across parts of our state, like central and eastern North Carolina, with rapid rainfall, drainage systems that probably have leaves and things from the fall and winter still stuck in them. So emergency crews have had to respond to multiple high water rescues. So be safe, stay alert, just because of that's kind of where we sit in the calendar portion of the year right now. I love food. Foodies out there, get excited because North Carolina's food scene has a lot of new restaurant openings and concepts that are launching in Charlotte, Raleigh, Asheville. There's a lot of chef-driven concepts and food halls that seem to be the new thing. A lot of national attention focusing on our barbecue scene, of course, with North Carolina. But there's other Southern fusion is what it's called out there that's mixing with different styles, must-try spots. This is the one that's not so appetizing, probably, on an early Saturday morning. Wake up! We got some politics. Phil Berger's forcing a hand recount in a growing political battle that is here in our state. There's also a battle over budget priorities and control within our state's legislature, disputes over spending on education, infrastructure, and taxes. Just a lot of stuff it's got to be figured out, I guess, but it's not something that many people like myself are too eager really to be a part of. High Point, though, I'm eager about that. Tonight, it's a long ways for us here on the Eastern Coast before we really get to think about it, because the tip-off time isn't until 9:45. But this game being played out on the western part of the country in Portland, Oregon. And then actually we have athletic director Dan Hauser from High Point that's going to join us in just a little bit to share with us, what things were like after High Point already pulled the first upset, what it does for the school. I mean, this is a big thing, really for the whole country nationally, because everything I've seen right now is like, what is this thing in High Point? What is this school? And I've heard it be the furniture capital of the world before, but now the Panthers are kind of taking the country a little bit by storm. Before I share with you what John Calipari, head coach of Arkansas, thinks about tonight's big game, there's always in college basketball, and I remember a guy in football even that was here in Winston-Salem locally for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. There's always these really cool players that a lot of people just root for intuitively because of their name. Like, we don't know anything else about them. They're a mystery to us a lot of times. The one I was referencing for the Demon Deacons before, his name was Jello Orange. You got to go back a little bit to get to that one. It might have been during the Grove days of Wake Forest, now that I think about it. But, they just got a killer name, and for us as fans, it's like, I'm going to cheer for that guy because that's cool. So we have a list of the all-tournament name teams for the NCAA tournament that's ongoing right now, but they missed one. They missed a High Point Panthers player that, hey, I'm going to feed it to you because, and that's a really good pun, by the way, that you'll figure out here in just a second. But I'm going to feed it to you because, hey, man, I'm an insider. I know this kind of stuff. But here's the names that are on their list that they compiled for the all-tournament name team by FanDuel. Boopy Miller, who has been playing in the ACC all year, part of SMU. Chandler Bing, that name for Friends folks might ring a bell. Blue Kane, a player that was beaten out on Georgia. Solo Ball, who's for UConn. They advanced last night in the tournament. Hunter Carver, not sure that one, is the best, but you get it. Hunt and Carve. He was a player for Hawaii who is no longer a part of the tournament. Boogie Fland for the Florida Gators. Cougar Downing. That one's kind of weak. Victory Onwetu for Hofstra, who's been beaten out. Federico. That's right. Gemma James. Puff Johnson. Dozy, I can't even get that one on the back half of that one, but Dozy, I guess, is probably the catching part of the name there for the all-tournament team. Michelangelo Oberti, I believe, for Princeton. Some of these are rough, I got to tell you. I would not want to be the play-by-play guy, but for UCF, who played last night, Pufia, I believe, is the first name. And then Monty Bowser is the last one. This is what they dug up. Now, you tell me if this ain't better. They swung and missed on High Point University second-year forward, Berger Irving. That's right. I fed that to you, so just keep that in mind. High Point, though, and Berger, a part of another game tonight. John Calipari, yesterday, head coach of Arkansas, who will be playing the Panthers, met with the media yesterday. This was his thoughts on tonight's matchup.
I got to say this about High Point. First of all, for them to have 31 wins and still playing, do you know how good they must be and well coached? Coach Clement, the job he's doing. The second thing, it proves my point that coaches win games, administrations win championships. They commit to it. Now, the coach has to be a good steward and has to make good decisions, but he can't do any of that if there's not enough support. Their president, I got to meet this guy sometime. I mean, he goes and builds a 5-star restaurant that the students go to once a week. What? I'm going to go to school there. They have an airline where they go and show you how to sit in an airplane and talk to a CEO who you happen to be next to. All the things they do are student-driven, which means their basketball players and their students are confident because someone really cares. And that's why I always come back to, it's the name on the back. That's what you should be worried about. Because right now, because High Point has been that way, look at all that's happening for their university.
Big time compliments from a head coach in college basketball that has certainly made the rounds. A lot of people respect his opinions. And so his Razorback team will be going up against High Point tonight. I'll share with you in a little bit what it'll take for the Panthers to pull a second upset. Hubert Davis may or may not be a big topic as well. More on the way. Waking Up Proud.
Hi, everyone. It's Brian Kilmeade. You're busy. I get it. But let's make some time for what matters. Join me weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on The Brian Kilmeade Show. You know, we'll dive into the latest breaking news, sports, politics, and entertainment. Your mornings deserve a fresh, unique wake-up call. So team up with me and my guests for lively debates and discussions. Tune in on WSJS and WSJS.com. Together, we're going to tackle the issues that all Americans are talking about.
Nobody gonna match my fresh. These haters can't match my fresh. Nobody can't match my fresh.
It goes from zero to beautiful in just a whiff. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. A sip of heaven that took a right turn at delicious and landed in the hearts of coffee lovers everywhere. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey from smooth blends to bold global roast. Only Foster Hobbs could brew this kind of magic, and it's called coffee. Now available at fosterhobbs.com. Brew your bliss today.
Them big auto dealers talk a lot about price, but what about a dealer that treats you like family? That's why I love Parkway Lincoln here in Winston-Salem. You're not just a dealer, they're your neighbor. Family owned with 2 locations, they offer that quiet, smooth, spacious American luxury SUV you crave, with an experienced staff ready to help. And being an authorized Lincoln dealer, they can get what you need, often at a better price. So bigger isn't always better, is it?
The biggest thing about Parkway Lincoln is they're like family. Online at parkwaylincoln.net.
The YMCA of Northwest North Carolina offers more than fitness. It's the perfect holiday gift. Dive in the special pricing on personal training and unlock the full potential of all 13 Y locations. The YMCA of Northwest North Carolina is where community meets commitment. So give the gift of belonging and wellness this season. Visit ymcanwnc.org and make the Y your home for health and happiness.
Happy. I'm so happy, yeah.
Fans first, always.
Oh, 1 in a million.
Waking Up Proud with Stephen Beck.
We're rolling along on the News Talk Sports Station here in the Triad, WSJS. Beck here with you, Waking Up Proud. Every Saturday, 9 to 11, and we appreciate you being a part of today's program, 336-777-1600, if you really do want to jump in on anything that we're talking about this morning. Right now, I got to give you an update of what I've been doing other parts of the week, though, that I'm not just here on Saturdays. I'm out trying tacos. Don't know if you're streaming us on YouTube or on X this morning. You can watch the live video feed anytime at WSJS Radio on X. or on our YouTube page. But getting a little dad bod thing going on here because I'm trying to find the best beef soft taco out there, powered by my friends Mike and Pam Foster from Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. If you are looking for a great selection of specialty roasted beans, maybe a Chemex, if you're really into pour-overs, that's a special way to blend coffee. If you need a grinder for your beans, or maybe even an espresso machine, Mike and Pam are filled with tons of knowledge about coffee. I go get their beans, make my own iced coffee at home, and that's why they power the Talk About Tour, because if I happen to stumble upon a bad taco, I got the good stuff in my cup, like I do this morning, to take with me and wash down whatever bad flavor from that taco with the Foster Hobbs coffee. But if you want to follow along with those reviews, you can find those on Teed Off Sports and teedoffsports.com. Most of my stops have been in High Point thus far. We'll also take your recommendations of the best taco places to go to. You can share those as well at teedoffsports.com, because I just want to find the best beef soft taco out there. Crunchy tacos, they're really a waste. They just fumble and crumble all over you. Another thing that you could possibly stay up to speed with, if you're just a fan of yours truly, a brand new show coming out here on WSJS, 9 to 10 in the mornings, Monday through Friday, called the Daily Pulse. That's right. We're going to have all of the latest, greatest news, entertainment, sports information, anything that is the pulse of the nation or the Triad, Monday through Friday. You're going to get it from me. Traffic, weather, sports, movies, entertainment, guests, Monday morning market updates from our friend at Edward Jones, Doug Eslick. There's just tons of stuff that's going to be jam-packed into a quick hour, just kind of like you get in 2-hour forms here on Saturday. So we hope that you'll make that a part of your Monday through Friday schedule. Like I said, that'll start fresh on Monday, and looking forward to the new beginnings there. This is something that we potentially would have shared with you on the Daily Pulse, but hey, if you're a Waking Up Prowold fan, then you're getting it early potentially here. Scott Newton is a great golfer, but here in the Triad, probably more well-known for being the pastor at Hope City Church in Wahlberg. But Scott's had a long history around the game of golf. I mean, he has played professionally himself. His sister has played on the LPGA Tour. He's had one son that went to High Point University and played collegiately. He has another one on the way to play for the UNCG Spartans this next year, starting as a freshman. He's got a niece that's coming up through the ranks that is supposedly really good at the game as well. And we welcomed him onto Between the Shanks, a podcast, a part of teedoffsports.com, earlier this week to talk about his experiences around golf. And he shared something about Tiger Woods. If you're a golf fan out there, anytime that name is mentioned, potentially even outside the game of golf, it's going to catch some attention. And so this one piqued my interest because I got to tell you, a lot of us now at this stage in Tiger's career, we envision probably an ambulance or a rehab facility. I mean, I'm not trying to poke fun at Tiger, but at this point, it's like, man, this guy just can't stay healthy. And for those that are really young, they may not even remember the heyday of Tiger winning, back-to-back championships in the 99 era. But Scott is somebody who saw Tiger up close and personal, played against him in a tournament, and shared a story earlier this week that I thought I would share with you.
The last U.S. AM that Tiger Woods won was out in Portland, Oregon area at Pumpkin Ridge. And I played in that, but I played the opposite courses of him and opposite tee times. So I wanted to go out and watch this kid because that's the first time I'd been exposed to him. I'm like, he ain't that good. He ain't that good. So I go out there and shoot like 77 on the match play course. And then the next day I wanted to go out and watch him play the course that I just shot 77. The greens were so fast and so hard, I couldn't hold a iron shot. But I remember this one par 4 had a bunker right in the middle, and it's probably like a 250 or 60 carry. That's it back in those days. I mean, we're talking 96, 97-ish. And I remember watching his ball almost get to the peak at that bunker where I hit my tee shot in the bunker, couldn't carry it. His was just peaking at that. And then we go to the next hole, and it was a par 3, and it was a long par 3, and the greens, like I say, were like so hard. My 3 or 4 iron hits the green and rolls off into the fringe rough that's this high. And I remember watching him. I'm like, all right, let's see what he does. He probably hit a 7 iron, sky high, hits the green, and one hop and stops. So they're different. It's a level that not many people ever get to.
Not in that clip, but Scott also shared, like, there's a sound that these PGA players or a talented golfer like Tiger, when he hits the ball, it just sounds completely different. And he shared that as well. Another really cool story from the time with Scott, and you can find this full conversation at teedoffsports.com between the Shanks podcasts on all your major podcast platforms as well. But the generosity of a person like Bubba Watson, there's a lot to be made about live golf. I know even here on Waking Up Proud, we've had discussions about Brooks Koepka, bouncing back to the PGA Tour from live. And personally, I would love to see live golf be crushed because I'm a PGA fan. I really want them all to unite, make up, kiss, and everything be good to move forward. But Bubba Watson got a bag. I mean, he was paid big, just like a lot of these guys that defected over to the live tour, but he's used it for good. And that's a story that he has positively taken his situation and now impacted Hope City. Here's Scott sharing that story.
The Golf Boys video. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Him and Ben Crane and Rick Fowler and Hunter Mahan. Remember them? So, like, they made a little bit of money selling that song and the video and all that stuff. And they had to pick a charity to give their portion, their 1/4 of it. And he picked our church. So, like, our church benefited from the Golf Boys video and song. How generous they are. The Ryder Cup does the same thing. When we he gave us some generosity from the Ryder Cup back in his days playing the Ryder Cup, because they got an allotment to give to a charity. And so now he's got his own charity. He's doing amazing things down in Pensacola. So, yeah, he made a business decision, and his family, I guarantee his family benefited from it because he's got 2 amazing children, and Angie's the salt of the earth. So I'm so proud of him and so glad for him, to be honest.
Awesome to hear that Bubba's putting his wealth now from that decision to good work and impacting our Triad area in a big way as well. Now, are you getting out this time of the year, swinging the club a little bit? I shared that on my way in. Maybe you're not a golfer, but it's going to be something that's going to touch you as well, because when I got up, jumped in the truck to head over here this morning, there's already a little bit of a green, fuzzy dust that was on my windshield. And if you've been sneezing more lately, maybe a little drainage, maybe coughing, you're wondering, what is this? Yeah, it's probably coming from pollen. Did you know that the Winston-Salem area here just landed on a national allergy capitals list for 2026? One of the most challenging places in the United States for seasonal allergies here in the Triad. It affects health, productivity, daily life for thousands of people, of course. And so this list was compiled to pinpoint, hey, these are where you're probably going to struggle with those coughs, sneezes seasonally. And Winston-Salem, number 19 in the United States. Number 7 was Raleigh as well. So North Carolina, firm and fixed in battling this time of the year. Boise, Idaho, though, tops it all. They were number 1 with higher pollen levels, longer allergy seasons, fewer allergy specialists in the area. That's how the list was compiled. It's been a great start to our Saturday. Appreciate you being with us. More coming back on WSJS.
survive and advance.
The number 1 overall seed Duke was challenged here in the first round.
Duke learned that the hard way in round 1, escaping an upset and keeping their title hopes alive.
Here's Evans, 4-on-3 to the right, hits the 3.
Now, the TCU Horned Frogs sit in the way. A trip to the Sweet 16 is on the line.
Sarr drifts to the left, drives, lobs, Brown flushes.
Blue Devils, Horned Frogs. Catch all the action starting at 4 on WSJS.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the number 1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey Griffin. Get your work week started the right way. During Civics 101, we'll catch up with the Mayor of Burlington, Beth Kennett. Dan Settlers will be here with Storytime Weekend Review. Hooray for Hollywood with Alec Hodges and a whole lot more. Have a good one, and we'll see you Monday morning at 7 on Triad Today.
We know it's cold right now, but you can get a jump on your projects with Black Sand Company. Yes, now's the time to get ahead of your neighbors. Black Sand Company delivers the materials you need when you need them. Sand, gravel, topsoil, and mulch.
Whether you're a home builder, commercial contractor, or a DIY enthusiast, Black Sand Company provides prompt, dependable, and courteous service. Weather's not an issue for them. Is it for you? Black Sand Company, 745 West Clementsville Road in Winston-Salem, where great projects begin.
March Madness, NCAA Tournament, and the number 99.
This is True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author and host of Truth Talk Live.
All kinds of bracket busters, all types of teams going home and teams advancing. But one great story, Chase Johnson, number 99, just hit the game-winning shot to advance High Point University past an higher-ranked, bigger opponent, Wisconsin. Chase Johnson gave all glory to God in his testimony, and he wears the number 99. And he tells of how he got that jersey number because he gave up his original number to an incoming player who wanted his first number, number 2. Chase said, I'll take number 99. Why? Because it reminds me of the Good Shepherd who left the number 99 sheep to come after the one, and I was that one. And so are you if you know the Lord, and so am I. Thank God Jesus is a great Savior. Thank God for this timely reminder amid the chaos of March Madness.
Join Stu on radio, social media, and his daily Truth Talk Live podcast. Learn more at truthnetwork.com.
Carolina Sports, Carolina Pride.
3, 2, 1.
Here's Stephen Beck on Waking Up Prowell.
Are you a college basketball fan? I am. And then you don't want to miss any part of this NCAA tournament as it's ongoing. Well, good news. You don't have to. You just stream us on WSJS.com, and we've had Westwood One's coverage of the NCAA tournament for the opening rounds here. Duke Blue Devils are also a part of the teams that have advanced to the round of 32. We'll have their coverage live tonight, 4 Eastern in the afternoon for their next round game. And we've been talking a lot this morning about High Point University upsetting Wisconsin. On the way, we've got athletic director Dan Hauser, who's going to share words for this team's big win from Portland. We also will share with you what it's going to take for the Panthers to upset Arkansas. Right now, though, I've got something locally that I just don't understand. Time to share it with you.
It's time now. Stephen's unpopular opinion.
I don't get the fascination here. The first ever Buc-ee's is coming to North Carolina, and it feels like it's been a long time coming, but with more time on the way before it actually gets here. The first ever Buc-ee's is going to open up here in our state off of the I-40, I-85 corridor near Mebane, if you haven't heard. But more details have now been firmed up on this site's development that we thought we would share with you. It's going to have 34 acres of space there in Mebane for the Buc-ee's. The store size itself will be between 74,000 and 75,000 square foot, one of the largest in the country. That's bigger than a professional football field, by the way, if you are trying to compare that somehow. It's going to have 120 gas pumps, 600 parking spaces, 200 to 300 full-time jobs, 100 more that are part-time. Roughly a project that's going to cost $70 million. Now, you may be wondering, when is all this going to happen? Well, it's expected to open late in the fourth quarter of 2027. But you want to know my unpopular opinion about it? I don't get the fascination. I don't get the excitement. And this is somebody that has been to a Buc-ee's. The one that I don't know exactly what part it is, South Carolina or near the Charlotte area, I believe technically. Yeah, no, it has to be in South Carolina because this will be our first for the state. But nonetheless, the one that is on I-85 southbound in our adjoining state is a nice place to pump up. Don't get me wrong. Like if you're traveling, you're looking for something that is easy, comfortable, get in and out of. At the time when I was making that trip, I had a diesel truck, so they have the Blue Def right at the pump. I mean, all that kind of stuff. Really cool. But you go inside these things, and everybody's, just making a big to-do about, brisket on the board and nut selections, and there's clothing. Honestly, this is my hot take. For Buc-ee's, I really personally feel like it is really more or less just a bigger Sheetz. That's my thoughts. But if you're a Buc-ee's fan, we're getting one. You're going to have to go to Mebane, and you'll be looking at a football-sized station that has created roughly 300 jobs and cost a bunch of dollars to do it coming in 2027. While High Point's riding the high point, and that's me, UNC Tar Heel fans, not so much. And Hubert Davis has really become the one that the magnifying glass is shining brightly and pointing to right now, because the Tar Heels lost for the second straight year in the round of 64, this time against VCU. The recent results under Hubert Davis, for those that may or may not remember, 22 was the best time. They were national runner-up that year. But since then, it's been just a slow kind of way of eroding away, honestly. 23, they missed the tournament completely. 24, they did get to the Sweet 16, but then, like I said, this year, back-to-back first-round exits. And more than just the erosion here that Tar Heel fans have had to endure, they also watched their team most recently against VCU blow a double-digit second-half lead. They only scored 3 points in overtime, and there was a 5-second there was just so many self-induced mistakes here that now Tar Heel fans, the debate has gone from whether or not we should renovate or move or not have the Dean Dome anymore to, man, we got to get a change here at our head coach position for the basketball program. And it probably really inflated after Hubert Davis joined the media postgame.
Did you sense that your team got a little bit tired there? I did not. I didn't.
Hubert, why did you go to just a six-man rotation in the second half?
Because that was my decision.
Coach, what do you think went wrong?
What do you mean?
Hubert, the free throws again, as you mentioned, a little bit of an issue tonight. Why do you think that was such an issue for your team throughout the season?
That's a great question. I mean, we work on them, and
if I said more than a couple of words here, I would have shared more with you here on Waking Up Proud than Hubert Davis shared post-game. And that's where I think the real rub begins. When the Tar Heels defeated the Blue Devils earlier this year, I had spent the prior week actually a part of The Drive, a program you can hear on WSJS every afternoon, 4 to 6, with Will Dalton. And I had sat there for a week being a part of that program, talking about how John Shire, the Blue Devils head coach, really would overshadow Hubert Davis. And I thought for two teams that at the time, with Caleb Wilson, Henry Rassar, both healthy, at the time, I guess Pat Gongba and Foster were healthy actually for the Blue Devils as well. But I sat there and I said, man, for two teams aligned so closely, it's going to come down to little things. It's going to come down to the hustle plays, the 50-50 balls, but also the coaching decisions. Those are two program leaders that out of timeouts, substitution adjustments, what are they drawing up, baseline out of bounds type plays. And Hubert Davis found a way impassionately to keep his team in it, to where, of course, at the end, Seth Trimble hits just a dagger of a three-pointer at the buzzer before mayhem cut loose, and the story became, court stormings and all the other things. But at the time, I'm like, okay, Hubert, man, you really surprised me. But there's probably been a handful of times now throughout the course of this season, this one that I just recently shared with you, right there at the top of those, where you're looking for answers from a leader. Part of a coach's job, and this is coming from a guy who worked closely with Division I basketball program, thought I wanted to be a head coach, so I've had some experience. I've been around a lot of them. It's not like I'm just kind of pulling this out from my back pocket and tossing it out there willy-nilly. But part of the job as a head coach is being a leader, having answers, trying to give support to questions, trying to be progressively thinking forward. How can we come up with results? And after not High Point in this case, but after the Tar Heels lose against VCU, you would imagine that there's going to be questions, right? Any person would. But Hubert doesn't have answers. And he just, kind of jiggles his glass of water or whatever he's drinking and leaves everybody wondering. So make no mistake, it shouldn't be a mystery now why people are calling for that job, expecting a change. Not only was it the fact that, through the past couple of years, missing the second round games of the NCAA tournament with such a storied program, that's gonna create unsettled feelings in the program and around the program anyways. Now you just don't have a leader that has any kind of answers. For those wondering, Hubert makes about close to $1.5 million a year. His contract runs through 2030 the buyout was $1.5 million. He makes about $3.2 million. So I want to clear that up. So you got to have about $1.5 million to get the buyout, and the buyout drops the further we get closer to 2030 when his contract would be up anyway. So the Tar Heels have some decisions to make here. And a lot of people have already started asking the Chancellor Roberts there in Chapel Hill, what are you going to do? What's going to happen here? And so far, he said it's being looked at very closely. I think a change will be coming. I really do. What isn't going to change is the fact that High Point has become a national story really quickly. And we got to share with you how they're going to further that story by beating Arkansas potentially, with help of athletic director Dan Hauser is going to be joining us this next hour on Waking Up Proud, WSJS.
What makes springtime winning a thrill? It's not just the tickets we offer. It's not just the concerts, the baseball, or the races. It's not even the excitement of soccer or the allure of fresh starts. It's the moment you bloom into big wins, the thrill of fresh air and fresh prizes. This is all we offer, but we offer it all so that this spring you can spring forward into winning. Discover your chance at WSJS.com.
Thunderbird fans, prepare for an electrifying weekend.
You know we ready to smash, time for some action.
The Twin City Thunderbirds are set to storm the ice with the Biloxi Breakers at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Indoor Arena, where thunder roars and breakers crash. Tonight, savor $2 hot dogs, feel the thunder, break the breakers, pack the nest, and let the thunder roll. Don't miss the action. Thunderbirds, Breakers. Get your tickets now at TwinCityThunderbirds.com.
Play It Again Sports knows how to upgrade your game without upgrading the price. From first-timers to pros, they turn New Year goals into game day wins. Gear up, get out, and play it again, because sitting on the bench is overrated. Where sports get a second win, they offer secondhand gear with first-rate fun. Play it again. Experience the energy of the new year at Play It Again Sports in High Point, Greensboro, and Winston-Salem. Shop online at playitagainsports.com.
Under the Friday night lights, Mac Allen calls the plays. His team huddles close, ready to win. But this isn't the field, it's Haviland Express Lube and Service, where Mac leads his ASC certified technicians to victory with every oil change, brake repair, and inspection. Drive with the winning team just off Highway 66 South in Kernersville. They're champions for your car and proud supporters of Triad High School athletics. Haviland Express Lube and Service. They ensure your car's peak performance.
News, talk, and sports done right. WSJS Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point, Burlington. Online at WSJS.com. By now, you've probably tuned into WSJS.com for the latest buzz. If not, no worries. Dive into the action anytime, anywhere. News, talk, sports, and weather at your fingertips. Listen live worldwide and connect with your favorite show hosts. Discover concert info, contests, and live appearances. Don't miss a beat with our local sports teams. Life's happening at WSJS.com. Stay informed and entertained. Visit WSJS.com today and join the conversation.
Look at her. She's a beauty. My brand new Lincoln Navigator from Parkway Lincoln. I just stand here and look at her. I've had many SUVs in my lifetime, but this new Lincoln Navigator is something else. Modern technology that I'm still learning, but man, it's great. And the price? You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Discover the American Luxury Lincoln SUV at Parkway Lincoln today. Awesome selection of SUVs, low interest rates, and maybe even bonus cash back. Parkway Lincoln of Winston-Salem.
It goes from zero to beautiful in just a whiff. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point, a sip of heaven that took a right turn at delicious and landed in the hearts of coffee lovers everywhere. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey from smooth blends to bold global roast. Only Foster Hobbs could brew this kind of magic, and it's called coffee. Now available at fosterhobbs.com. Brew your bliss today.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey Griffin. Get your work week started the right way. During Civics 101, we'll catch up with the Mayor of Burlington, Beth Kennett. Dan Sellers will be here with Storytime Weekend Review. Hooray for Hollywood with Alec Hodges and a whole lot more. Have a good one, and we'll see you Monday morning at 7 on Triad Today.
Waking Up Proud on WSJS. Fueling fans, flavor, and fun. The morning show that's always on the prowl is served up by Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey. And by High Point University, the premier life skills university and ranked the #1 best run college in America by the Princeton Review.
Make way for the
This is Waking Up Prowl with Stephen Beck.
Ah, yes, Waking Up Prowl. Back here with you, 9 to 11. A second hour here on WSJS. Stream us at WSJS.com for the audio version. If you want to watch the Ugly Mug here, then you can on X at WSJS Radio or at Stephen Beck TO plus on YouTube, or talk to me as well, 336-777-1600. That's the joy of being able to have me live, is that you can just call. We can talk here. I'll spend a segment just shooting the breeze with you potentially. I'll tell you what we've got on the way this hour, because it is a rush. Before we catch you up on the latest and greatest things here in our local area, the whole segment, honestly, North Carolina news pieces that we don't want you to miss. And it's actually a good nod to a new thing coming here on the station called The Daily Pulse. That's a new show starting Monday. It's going to be Monday to Friday, 9 to 10 with me. So we'll have all of the pulse of what's happening in the nation and in the Triad, and great guests that are going to also help us keep you updated on news, entertainment, sports, hot topics, get you involved, giveaways, everything. It's going to be for you starting on Monday, the Daily Pulse. Before we jump to Hot Off the Prow, I'm going to tell you that Athletic Director Dan Hauser was able to spare some time for me earlier this week after High Point University upset Wisconsin and has become the story of the nation, really. So he's going to share how that has impacted the school already, and maybe even share a look ahead to what it would take to beat Arkansas, like I'll do as well. I've got a few things that I feel like would propel the Panthers to pull another upset. We also have for you some kind of funky stories. Like, did you know the WNBA came up with a big agreement yesterday, kind of broke late in the day, and it's probably been overshadowed. Also, the World Cup for soccer is going to be huge, and the United States has already laid out something that if you're into merch, you're into gear, you're probably going to be really excited to hear that as well. A lot coming up this hour for you right now, though. I don't want you to miss the big headlines that have started to stir.
Hot off the prowl with Stephen Beck.
This whole segment is like loaded North Carolina stuff. And it starts with foodie news. I don't know if you're hungry this morning. I've had my Foster Hobbs coffee, but if you're kind of thinking, man, I could go for something really good, you may have to do a little bit of driving because most of these new food spots for the state are popping up in Charlotte, Raleigh, Asheville. But there's new concepts that are catching waves locally, like a lot more food halls. There's one in High Point that people go to, and it's kind of a cool scene. If you don't know what a food hall is, it's kind of like honestly, it's kind of like a food court back in the days when malls were actually a thing. But it's like lots of little stops, and you can walk around, you can try different foods at different locations. Something else happening in the state is storm damage, because we've hit this stretch of the calendar that the weather is unsettled, honestly. I mean, we were coming out of really cold times. We're moving towards warmer times. And when those two mix, I'm not a meteorologist at all, but my understanding is that just that gets storms stirred up and popping off. And so there's been roadways that have been flooded a lot. There's had to be some rescue operations. Places out with tornadoes confirmed as well in Onslow and Craven counties. So just keep an eye to radars and stay alert. That's about all you can do. And the last thing is, in the political scene, it might feel a little unsettled like the weather, because of just this cycle right now seems to be rather high stakes politics in our North Carolina legislature, with all 120 seats in the state house up for election in November. A lot of jockeying, a lot of stuff going on there. I don't know. You could make it fun like the NCAA tournament, potentially put it in a bracket, see if we can get some upsets or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to make it a little bit more enjoyable than probably what it normally would be. Some other things that happened here this week, just some things that you wouldn't believe. Maybe you would. I thought they were very interesting. We're going to start here actually in the Triad area again, where not too long ago, right as we flipped into March, and every day now has one of these things somebody's decided, like today is national whatever. Like yesterday was actually the first day of spring. So I'm a buyer and believer in that one. But, I don't know what the 21st is. You can look it up. Maybe it's National, High Five Your Friend Day. I made that up. But recently there was actually a National Triplet Day. And on that day here in North Carolina, Winston-Salem, triplets were born. The odds of having triplets and delivering them on National Triplets Day. Think about that for a second. That is some crazy odds. Very rare. I'll have them for you in a second. But here's the story. 3 boys were born, Kyrie, Jeremiah, and Isaiah, on March 3rd, National Triplet Day, 2 months premature. I mean, you would imagine usually twins, triplets, they don't go full term. They just run out of real estate in there. So emergency C-section happens. The boys are born. Right now, they're all 3 in good health in the NICU, still trying to gain more strength. They came out 2 months early. So you gotta try to work up to be ready to go home before it's actually time to get out of there. But here's the stats that follow. Triplets occur in roughly 1 in 6,000 to 8,000 births. But when you add in the fact that they were born on National Triplets Day, I'm going to guess that's like 1 in 2 quintillions. I mean, I know I'm not a stats guy and I'm kind of just making stuff off the cuff here, but that is something that's extremely rare. What doesn't seem to be so rare is the fact that somebody could be walking down the street, jump in the driver's seat of an ambulance, and take off for the hills. That happened this week in Randolph County. A man is accused of stealing an ambulance and driving it cross counties, wild, high-risk situation. Emergency services were disrupted, multi-county police chase here. But you'll never guess how this thing ends. We'll start with Alan Morgan, who's 27 years old, and he just happened to be cruising by the Randolph Health Hospital in Asheboro earlier this week. It was early morning hours, so around 6 a.m., and the ambulance had stopped there at the hospital to just drop off a patient. Well, all of a sudden, people turn around, and that ambulance is gone. I mean, everybody's scratching their head. What's happening here? Well, finally, they realized the thing had been carjacked, and a multi-agency pursuit across counties began, roughly about 50-plus miles, starting out in Randolph County and finally continuing over into Moore County, where deputies attempted a traffic stop, but the driver just kept refusing to pull over and making his way down the road to where it finally ended in Pinehurst. Now, at first, it sounds like any old carjacking, and, well, Stephen, what's so special about this? He grabbed an ambulance. Yeah, okay. Did he go lights and sirens? I don't know. What is crazy to me about the ending of this bad boy is that not only did he end in a crash because the police had to take over, get involved, they do the pit maneuvers and all the other things, it ended in a crash at a hospital sign. For Alan, it's probably good news because he crashed. He's back at a hospital again. And, even if they weren't, he's in an ambulance. So they probably have things there that they could help him with if for whatever reason he was injured or something to that effect. But think about this. He takes the ambulance from a hospital, drives it 50 plus miles or so, and where it ends is another hospital. I don't know. That's crazy stuff. This one, not so enjoyable, but equally kind of crazy. And it's here in our state again, where a North Carolina high school has now had to deal with a lot of doo-doo. Repeated sewage backups inside of their building, prompting an environmental health inspection, and parents, of course, concerned about their students' welfare because you're not really supposed to be around raw sewage like that. But in Topsail, at Topsail High School, Pender County, it's not just one time that this has now happened, but twice, multiple times where sewage has started backing up inside of the school. Last week was the first incident, second one shortly after that, where the sewage water backs up, odor begins to infiltrate the full building as you might expect, and it prompts a health inspection because this is stuff that you're not supposed to be around. It's not sanitary. So the Pender County Environmental Health Department comes out. They inspect. No violations or major issues at that time of inspection. Hard to believe because it's now happened a couple of times and nobody really understands why. Lots of doo-doo there swimming upstream while we're going downstream to a great Saturday ahead that we're happy to have you be a part of on WSJS.
It's time for
Heart-pounding action.
crossover, step back.
Buzzer beaters.
3 seconds, a bucket layup, good! At the buzzer!
Cinderella stories.
And the fairy tale ride continues.
Championship dreams.
At midcourt, extra pass. And it goes for the win!
Every moment, every game, every upset.
For just the second time ever, a 16 beats a 1.
March Madness lives right here on WSJS. Powered by Piedmont Trucks, built for the drive, on the court and on the road. By East Coast Wings and Grill, feeding the madness one wing at a time. And by Crossroads Ford in Kernersville. Fast brakes, fast trucks, built Ford tough. The road to the championship runs through WSJS and WSJS.com.
High Point University, the premier life skills university, is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Public ice skating is happening at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. Join them for public skating hours, no school skate days, holiday skating, group skating lessons, and party time skating, because parties on ice are the best. Visit WSFairgrounds.com for more information. Public ice skating is open at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, your one-stop source for entertainment in Winston-Salem.
Hola, amigos. With the spring and summer in the air, make Pancho Villa's your destination for authentic, delicious Mexican food. Family-friendly and always fresh. We're grateful to be partners on the Truth Network, and we have 2 locations, one in High Point and in Winston-Salem. Make it a Pancho Villa's night.
Friendly service, delicious food, and a wonderful family-friendly atmosphere. Find them online at mypanchovillas.com. Vaya con Dios.
Turn it up, turn it on, turn it loose.
Turning rush hour into must-hear sports talk radio. It's On the Drive.
Yeah, get your game on.
What's happening, everybody? It's WD from The Drive, and we hope you're having a fantastic sports weekend with all of the NCAA tournament action. Opening day for the Major League season starts next week. We'll react to the weekend, and we'll set the table for what's to come. Be with us 4 to 6 p.m. on The Drive right here on WSJS.
Turn me up. Let's go.
Carolina mornings start here on WSJS with Stephen Beck and Waking Up Prowell.
Happy Saturday morning. Waking Up Prowled back with Beck at Stephen Beck TO on X. Hope you'll follow me there, and also throughout the week at teedoffsports.com for other blogs and videos and posts. Just like if you have interest in the Tar Heels and what might be next for Hubert Davis, we already shared a little bit of that. He had no answers, so maybe we might have answers for you there. You can go to teedoffsports.com. We have a brand new blog going up after the show ends about that situation there from one of our writers, Andrew, and that'll be exciting to kind of get perspective on what the situation potentially could be there in Chapel Hill. I'll tell you somebody that's happy with their head coach, and that's athletic director Dan Hauser. High Point University pulls a huge upset earlier this week, really become the story of the NCAA tournament, story of the country, honestly. I can't turn around without seeing High Point somewhere at this point. It's been all over any major media outlet, any place that potentially has interviews and social media stories and whatever it is, whether it be from Chase Johnston making his first 2-point basket to win the game, whether it be the 3-point shots and him pulling up from a logo 3. It could be Rob Martin showing off his incredible speed and going up against 2 really difficult guards in Blackwell and Boyd for the Badgers and really kind of overshadowing them a little bit. It could be Cam Fletcher, who is a guy that's had a storied career, or it could really be Flynn Clayman, the head coach of the Panthers, who after the game shared some things. First off, if you missed it, it was bedlam when High Point beat the Badgers.
Here comes the long ball. That's what Wally called for, but it is intercepted. And High Point, the Panthers, the 12 seed, continue on as they upset the Wisconsin Badgers 83-82.
That was their first ever NCAA tournament win. Their first win as well ever against Power 4 schools. And speaking of the Power 4, head coach of the Panthers, Flynn Clayman, both on the court but also after things kind of died down a little bit, official time with the media, has shared commentary now that, again, it's also caught the country by storm, at least in sports circles, to be a primetime topic. We're going to share that with you, probably give a little perspective as well to maybe educate those that don't have a ton of background and knowledge on it. But first, now High Point turns its attention to another big game, round of 32 against Arkansas. And could they potentially pull another upset against a 4-seeded team with another really good couple of guards? Malik Thomas, Darius Acuff. Acuff's definitely going to be a first-round draft pick in the NBA upcoming. He was player of the year, or player at least for the SEC conference tournament. So it's a huge game tonight at 9:45 Eastern time. Of course, they're playing these games out in Portland, so there it'd be about 6:45. But what would it take for High Point to pull another upset? Now, I've followed this team, covering them for the full course of the season. Proud Panthers podcast, also on teedoffsports.com or any of your major podcasting platforms, is a place you can get that. And, you know, it's one of these things where while they've really captivated the country's attention, I've been trying to ring the bell as much as I can for a team that's won 30 games, only lost 4. A lot of those they really should have won, or they were in them to begin with. I've been trying to ring that bell all year. So I know what it would take for this team to potentially pull another upset. The big difference here between Wisconsin and Arkansas is their styles of play. Both very good on the offensive end of the floor. Elite offenses, probably not so much defensively. But where Arkansas varies a little different from what Wisconsin showed the Panthers earlier this week is that they're much more athletic, much more high-flying, a little bit more aggressive, probably risky offensive system with John Calipari. I mean, in his press conference leading up to this game, he shared, like, why do y'all throw so many lobs and things that are alley-oops? Why does it look like the Harlem Globetrotters out there a little bit? Well, that's because we don't make bounce passes. We throw things at the basket. So High Point is going to have to be extremely sound on their own defensive end. But with Arkansas taking some risks, that opens up to a favorable thing for the Panthers, and it has been all year. They led the country in steals this year. Steal percentage, they led it. So their defense is where everything's going to have to start. They're going to have to get deflections. They're going to have to force live ball turnovers, get out and run in transition, and score on the run, just like they did quite a few times against Wisconsin. I think Cam Fletcher has to have a big game. Cam Fletcher's an interesting story. He's missed a lot of time for the Panthers this year, but he formerly played for John Calipari, who's now head coach of Arkansas, before. They both were in Kentucky at the time. And so this is a caliber of player in Cam Fletcher that is Power 4 level. He's been at Kentucky. He's been a part of Florida State. He's played for Xavier before. He has got the intangibles that will be right up there with this extremely athletic Arkansas team. And in the conference tournament championship for High Point, one where I was there and covering in Johnson City, Tennessee, he pulled down 19 rebounds in the first round matchup against Wisconsin. Cam followed that up with 11 rebounds, had 14 points to go along with it. That's all coming off of the bench for the Panthers. So you got a Power 4 level player that's huge, integral in pulling down boards, and he's coming off the bench for you. Chase Johnston has been somebody that, again, with his shots, with his story, with his personal beliefs, one that I advocate for, and I personally know how great of a dude Chase is. By the way, you can get his Topps trading card out there now, so that's another kind of crazy thing. I'm just waiting for the Wheaties box to show up. Chase is coming off the bench with great leadership. He's going to be a sharpshooter. I'm sure that he is up high on Arkansas scouting report for this game. But you would imagine he's going to also have to hit a few three-point shots. The three-point shot keeps teams in the game. Big part of what High Point does. They almost shot 50. It was in the 40s against Wisconsin, and they're going to need to be effective from long range in order to pull another upset. But another guy that I would say, if he ends up playing well with this other cast of characters, so you got Rob Martin, you've got, of course, Chase Johnson, Cam Fletcher, we've mentioned both of them, Terry Anderson, who's really been this team's MVP all year, Owen Aquino. If Conrad Martinez finally finds himself, he has been absent for probably the past month and a half of this season. If he finds a way to wake up and find himself, that will be a huge person to highlight and watch for in this game, because I think he's going to be under the radar, not scouted, completely unexpected, and would be just another great addition, because they're going to have to put up 90-plus points to win this game. I'm telling you that. Next, we're going to hear from somebody, a part of this program, Athletic Director Dan Hauser. It's coming back for you on Waking Up Proud on WSJS.
Afternoons just got better with more guests, more opinions, and more laughs. The Dan Patrick Show.
There's a problem in the NBA, and that has to do with tanking. Now, normally you'll get maybe one or two teams tanking for the opportunity to get somebody special. And you've probably got 3 or 4 players in college basketball this year who will come in and contribute right away. Teams are being obvious, it feels like. Like, we're just going to sit our team down.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekday afternoons at 2 on WSJS.
It goes from zero to beautiful in just a whiff. Foster Hobbs Coffee Roasters in High Point, a sip of heaven that took a right turn at delicious and landed in the hearts of coffee lovers everywhere. With its fresh specialty roasted beans crafted to order, each cup is a journey from smooth blends to bold global roast. Only Foster Hobbs could brew this kind of magic, and it's called coffee. Now available at fosterhobbs.com. Brew your bliss today.
Every bite tells a story at Mrs. Haynes Moravian Cookies. Named the number 5 cookie shop in America by USA Today readers, it's a tradition cherished by families for generations. Hand-rolled and hand-cut and baked with love at 4643 Freedberg Church Road in Clemens. Taste the warmth of ginger, sugar, chocolate, lemon, butterscotch, and black walnut. They bake 10 million cookies a year. Discover more at HaynesCookies.com. Mrs. Haynes Moravian Cookies, where tradition meets taste.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Mr. Griffin.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey, everybody, this is Jeffrey Griffin. Get your work week started the right way. During Civics 101, we'll catch up with the Mayor of Burlington, Beth Kennett. Dan Sellers will be here with Storytime Weekend Review. Hooray for Hollywood with Alec Hodges and a whole lot more. Have a good one, and we'll see you Monday morning at 7 on Triad Today.
Where Carolina sports meets Carolina flavor. You're waking up proud with Stephen Beck.
It is Beck, and we're back on Waking Up Proud here on WSJS. One more from me. We got a big-time weekday lineup now in the mornings with Jeffrey Griffin on Triad Today, starting at 7, going until 9. And then following him will be myself with the Daily Pulse, a brand new program starting on Monday, headed to Friday, each day, 9 to 10, where you can get the latest, the pulse, really, of what's happening in the Triad and also the country, just like this big story that's been happening countrywide for our local Triad-based basketball team. High Point University Panthers pulled an upset against the Wisconsin Badgers, really the major upset of the NCAA tournament thus far, where most of the games yesterday were chalk. We'll see what happens in the round of 32 that starts here today. In fact, if you're a big fan of the NCAA tournament, you don't want to miss any of the action. You can hear it all here on WSJS, including at 4 o'clock today, we'll have the Duke Blue Devils playing their second game of the tournament as well. But earlier, after High Point pulled that big-time upset, we wanted to check in with Athletic Director Dan Hauser, who's out in Portland for the Panthers games in this first round and second round of the tournament. And Dan shared with us, really how has this hit the program thus far? And he shared with us, what his thoughts were potentially on what Arkansas has in store for us later tonight. Joining us now here for Waking Up Proud, 3 hours across country on the West Coast, and really appreciative of Athletic Director Dan Hauser from High Point University taking the time to be with us. Dan, thank you so much.
Hey, Stephen, great to be with you today. Exciting day for the Panthers.
It is. It's a great day to be a Panther. We're just coming off of an 83-82 upset victory in the NCAA tournament. Number 12 seed High Point beating a number 5 seed Wisconsin. You were inside of Portland's arena for the game. Start there. Talk about what you experienced. I'm sure it was bedlam. For me, inside of my living room where I was locked myself away, it was crazy. So I can only imagine.
It was an electric atmosphere. There's no doubt about it. Panther fans, if you're not aware, HPU sent a charter flight of about 220 plus HPU students from campus yesterday, touched ground and here in Portland, and they were in the stands. And man, they just brought an energy that was unmatched in the whole venue from the beginning of the game to warm-ups all the way through. They didn't sit down one single time. I hope that was kind of felt during the broadcast, because there were some times we were down by 10 and we were down by 6, and we always tied it and called up, but we could just never get that lead. But it was a real testament to our students and the passion of them that really gave our team some energy to stay in there and hang in there. And then at the end, when you saw our players run over to the students and our cheering section, you could tell why. And it was just a magical moment in the arena.
You always seem so calm and collected when we interact. I know for myself, I don't know if it's even fair to say at this point that I've come down off of the high that I'm riding. Try to express maybe your emotions attached to a win like this.
Oh, it's a special, proud moment for sure. I've been to HPU for 12 years, and we've been building a long time to get to a moment like this. It doesn't just happen. I've learned that over my career. There's building blocks on top of building blocks and steps you have to take. And, we're fortunate to have a university and a president, President Cobain, that understands those building blocks and invests in those year after year and tries to get us in the position to create this type of success. It's just a journey, and you have to work your way there. Last year, getting to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history was again one of those steps. And then I think you see a second step when you get there multiple times. You start to believe that you belong and you can pull off an upset like we did today. So it's a pleasure to see that investment and how hard everybody is working at High Point University to create this success. It's a team effort. Every single person involved, from Coach Clayman, the players, and all the support that HPU has behind the team to get us to this success. And it's just fun to see that you get rewarded for that hard work. Our fans deserve it. And we talked at the beginning of the year, we're big believers and big dreamers here. And we're going to dream well beyond what the public might think High Point can achieve. But I said at the beginning, we can be a Sweet 16 team. And I'm going to dream that. And once we get to the Sweet 16, I'm going to dream beyond that as well and believe that we can get beyond that. So, I think that's an important part of it as well. Our players, hopefully the fans felt it, believed they were in the game the whole time. This was not a surprise to them.
Well, you said it so well there. You had me back in, we'll call it late summer, ready to run through a glass wall. I just remember it. And so I can't I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, Dan, yourself. You're a part of this team that has accomplished this feat. Let me ask you, have you talked after all of this transpired at all with the staff, the team? You know, I know Dr. Quabain was also in attendance, maybe just to share how they're feeling after this momentous occasion.
They're ecstatic. Leadership is ecstatic. In fact, we're trying to find a way to get more students out here. So right after we won, we are busy at work seeing how we can pull off getting more students to fly out here and get more students tickets into the stands and hotel rooms. I mean, it's a dream to work at a place like High Point University and have that type of support from President Quabain. We don't blink at these opportunities. We just embrace them and try to maximize every single thing out of them that we can. And so that's at work. Called up with Flynn after the game and just told him how proud I was of him and the entire staff. And then, you know, if you saw his comments on TV in the locker room after the win, you know, we were talking about coming here to win 2 games. And then you get the week off to go back home. But that's what we were talking about. And then Flynn's getting these guys to believe that, you know, it's 6 total games to do the whole show and win the whole thing. And you know, this is one step. We're going to try and believe and prepare for that second game on Saturday. But we came here to win 2 games. Again, the general public might laugh at you. The general public may not think you have a chance or a prayer. But if you get a locker room of guys and you got a great staff that puts in the work, puts in the overtime to prepare a team mentally and physically, great things can happen.
So you had mentioned that the 2 games there, but I think after this win, Coach Clayman also shared some other commentary that I wanted to put some more meat on just in respect to games, because you work hand in hand with Flynn in trying to position High Point to get games and get things scheduled for not only the season we just endured, but seasons ahead. And one of the most impassioned, post-game commentaries that I've experienced of late, that I'm a big believer and buyer from a mid-major fan, is Flynn basically going to bat and saying, like, hey, everybody's saying we haven't played anybody. Well, now we've played somebody. We win. Can you maybe just share again how it's been such a struggle for our High Point program to get teams that would be willing to play us?
Yeah, we have a scheduling philosophy where we're going to buy games and stuff and secure home games. And we're also going to chase neutral site games, because that's a way that we can, if we can win neutral site games, against quality opponents, that's another way that we can improve our net. And before Allen got here, you know, our net was in the 270 range. And I think the last thing I saw going into the tournament, we might be in 74 in the net. And it's just been a philosophy for us to try and secure home games and try and get those neutral games. The bye games or the guarantee games by the Power 4 schools, we're just really in this zone of that no one wants to have anything to do with you. When you are in the 70s and then you go to someone's home site, you are not a quad 1 game. You're a quad 2, and so if you're a good quad 2, no one wants to play you because it's too much risk. The Power 4s would much rather play a quad 3 team at home that they know they can beat, and that's just kind of the formula of the way it is. I think the big thing to me is I think we got to really, as an organization, maybe figure out that net calculator a little bit in that regard, just because it really does hurt the teams that are very, very good in that 65 to 80 range, which we've been in the last couple years. Those teams, they're just doomed to no one wants to play you. And I don't blame the Power 4s because they're protecting themselves a little bit. I wish they would be open to playing us, but they have a lot on the table. It just seems to me there needs to be an adjustment to the net calculator a little bit, somehow, some way, in that non-conference section of the season where maybe there could be some added calculus to teams that Power Fours that'll play a team ranked in a certain category.
Athletic Director from High Point University, Dan Hauser, joining us here on WSJS. I know we're on borrowed time here, and so I just have two little questions left over. First would be, you are right now the story, I would say, of the nation. High Point University, the athletics program, I mean, everything. What can that do for a school like ours and the athletic department?
Oh, it's an amazing opportunity. And as athletic director, it's what I love to see, because that's the power of athletics in motion. You know, a lot of people say that athletics sometimes is the front porch of your house. It's not the most important room in the house. By all means, we're an academic institution. You know, we're about God, family, country values, and choose to be extraordinary, and the premier life skills university. There's a lot to our house. But when the athletic department can be the front porch, can provide exposure to the nation to learn more about our amazing campus, our amazing leadership, and the outstanding academic opportunities that are available at High Point University. It makes me so proud as athletic director, because that's the power of athletics.
You said the team's there to win at least 2 games, and now we look up at a schedule as the brackets kind of advanced here and see a Razorback team that's coming out of the SEC with some good guard play. John Calipari, of course, being a coach that a lot of people in college basketball circles would be familiar with. So what are your early thoughts for that game?
I think we have some matchups that we can take advantage of. If you saw Rob Martin this afternoon, he is a very hard guard. And I'm not saying he's Muggsy Bogues, but he reminds me of a Muggsy Bogues type of player where you can't double team him. You can't get the ball out of his hands if he doesn't want to get the ball out of his hands. He's a very hard guard on the defensive side, and I like that matchup. Obviously, I think in that second half, we started feeling a little bit more confident from the three. The first half, we were not confident from the three, but the second half, especially that last 8 minutes, we started really banging down some threes there. And I hope that we can walk in the gym on Saturday and start where we finished there and have confidence hitting some threes. Chase, of course, was amazing, but we also had some big ones from Cam. Rob hit some threes. And that's going to be important because, we're going to need to stretch Arkansas out a little bit. On the defensive side, Flynn has invested a ton in our defense. We tried a few wrinkles against Wisconsin, some zone there. We switched it up with some man. Obviously, we switch a lot on screens. We'll have to be pretty sharp on the defensive side against Arkansas because they're a special team. And the thing I saw, I stayed for a little bit of the Hawaii game. Man, you can't get them their bigs running and high flying with alley-oops and dunks and stuff. It's a very highlight film type of team. So we're going to have to get back fast, perhaps try and, if those passes for alley-oops, we got to contest those because Hawaii wasn't contesting them a lot of times. And boy, it looks like showtime when they kind of get it going.
Well, I'm right there with you. I'm a believer. I'm there for another win on Saturday. No matter what happens, I personally am a Proud alum and a Proud Panther. And athletic director Dan Hauser from High Point University, I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you, Stephen.
We started losing Dan there at the end. Of course, he's out in Portland, so cross-country, big game tonight. Panthers, Razorbacks, 9:45 Eastern time. We'll see if High Point can shock the nation again, pull another upset. We've got some news from the WNBA, plus some last-minute tie-ups to get to here on WSJS. Coming up next.
Springtime winning on WSJS is a time to explore and discover fresh prizes, fresh starts, and a chance to bloom big. Make every moment a winner by scoring tickets to the hottest concerts, thrilling races, or your favorite team's game. Spring brings the bling, and winning is just a click away at WSJS.com. We're not just blooming, we're booming with fresh prizes at WSJS.com.
High Point University, The premier life skills university is ranked the #1 best-run college in America by the Princeton Review. Employers value HPU's real-world preparation. Students love unprecedented access to global leaders on High Point's inspiring campus. And parents appreciate HPU's God, family, and country values. Choose to be extraordinary at High Point University.
Top of the box, HPU. HPU shot. He scores! HPU with the exclamation point. Charlotte FC has your weekend plans covered. Join the party this Saturday when the Crown take on the New York Red Bulls in a nighttime showdown at Bank America Stadium. Arrive early to score a limited edition Sir Minty basketball jersey presented by Ticketmaster. Get your tickets today at charlottefootballclub.com/tickets.
At Pat's Body Shop in Tolling, your car's comeback is their mission. And Pat's Body Shop may be your next career move. They're seeking 3 body technicians who excel in hard-hit collisions. They restore rides with care, precision repairs, and honest service. From fender benders to full recovery, they need your expertise. Call Scarlett today at 336-705-9503 and become part of their local experts in repair. That's 336-705-9503 and ask for Scarlett.
Atlantic Coast Sports has a lot of merchandise for you to capitalize on. You like sports memorabilia. It's got pro sports. It's got college sports. Whatever you really need. And that's on the first floor. If you want to go and make a day out of it, get inside the batting cages on the second floor, third floor, the green room, every golf course programmed into it. Food-wise, they got the loaded coat. Atlantic Coast Sports is the place to go. Fabulous store. AtlanticCoastSports.com, located downtown Mount Airy.
What I'm talking about. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. Can I tell you something? Ever hear the phrase wake up call? Well, on the Brian Kilmeade Show, we don't even hit snooze. We break news, sports, politics, entertainment. The Brian Kilmeade Show on WSJS is your home for lively debates and discussion. For a fresh, unique morning wake-up call, join me weekdays at 10 a.m. Let's talk about the news and the issues that all Americans are buzzing about. Your home for the Brian Kilmeade Show is WSJS and WSJS.com.
From the mountains to the coast. Waking Up Proud keeps it Carolina on WSJS.
What's up? Thanks for being with us. Saturday morning here, waking up proud. Pretty nice day it looks to be outside. Hope you can enjoy it before you lock yourself away, like I'm probably going to watch tons of college basketball. But speaking of basketball, the WNBA is really the basketball that takes center stage throughout the course of our warmer months in summer. And they finally have done something here that seems like a good decision, and that is they've tentatively reached a new collective bargaining agreement announced late yesterday evening. Probably got overshadowed by a lot of other stuff. We're bringing it for you here, though, this morning. It is one of the most transformational deals in women's sports history, is what they're saying. I don't know that I follow tons of women's sports, but I'll give a little bit of context in a second to say, thank you for making a smart decision for yourselves, ladies. It avoids a potential labor dispute before the season actually begins for the WNBA, dramatically increases player pay, introduces revenue sharing for the first time ever. They both agreed, the two sides, the collective bargaining agreement now moves the old cap from $1.5 million per team up to $7 million. That's a 400% increase. Players now receive about 20% of the league revenue, the first time that they've actually had revenue sharing structure tied to growth in the WNBA. Full-time charter flights for teams is going to be included in this. The standard roster size also moved up by 2 spots. Instead of 10, now they'll be able to have 12 players. The top draft pick for 2026 will now be making $500,000 a year, and they've now moved towards extending their schedule. That might be the one thing here in this whole agreement I don't personally think is a smart move, but in 2027, they're looking to move to 50 games a season, and in 2029, they're looking to move to 52 games a season. Why I think this is all really good is because women's basketball, ever since Caitlin Clark, and you can debate this all you want, but ever since she came on the scene as an Iowa Hawkeye, really took over the scene there of being a transformational style player, now moved to play for Indiana, the Fever in the WNBA. Of course, last year, not really the type of season that she wanted because she ended up battling injuries, but the WNBA actually, for the first time ever, is something that has some following to it. She was selling out arenas. Players were starting to, act like, hey, this is what should have happened all along. Instead of being grateful, realizing, not hacking and chacking and fouling Caitlin Clark to death with officials not protecting her, they were headed to a labor dispute here where potentially if you miss game time, now that sport itself it kind of goes away again. So I think ultimately really intelligent decision for these two to get around a table and say, like, we got to lock this up, take advantage of the popularity that we've developed over the past couple seasons and not let this thing get away and get out of hand. Something that is really also very popular is soccer. I don't know that I'm like a big soccer guy. I don't mind like a good match. World Cup, Olympic soccer, usually I'll partake in those two for the United States. And speaking of the World Cup, here this year, the United States is co-hosting the event. You'll hear about a lot of different teams using actually the Triad to be like a training site for their teams and to practice and do other things that way. If you may have missed it, though, the United States teams released their kits. For those that aren't in the soccer world, that means jerseys for the upcoming World Cup. They have 3 different designs, one called Stripes, one called Stars, and one for the goalkeeper called Hollywood. The Stripes kit is basically, in a sense, what you would imagine it to be. The jersey is made up of a lot of stripes like the American flag, red and white. The Stars kit is more dark navy, midnight tones with subtle star graphics across the jersey. And then the Hollywood kit for the goalkeepers is a unique third design just for them, kind of bold, flashy styling like you often see them. It looks like they're construction workers out on the side of the road with their reflective type uniforms. But this is good news for USA fans that like to buy memorabilia and merch, because these kits are receiving a favorable reaction as opposed to the ones back in 2022 that got a lot of criticism. So if you're interested, they're out there. You can go buy yourself a World Cup kit, Stars, Stripes. Maybe you want to be a goalie and get something that's a little bit more flashy. Big week ahead here on WSJS, for myself included. And that includes a new show called The Daily Pulse, Monday through Friday, 9 to 10, immediately following Triad Today with Jeffrey Griffin. That starts at 7 until 9. So be sure to listen to this heavy-hitting weekday lineup in the mornings, where we're going to share a lot of the pulse with you. What's happening in the nation? What's happening locally? Who are the guests that'll give you insights that no one else can share with you? Monday morning market updates for the business guys getting back to work from my friend Doug Eslick at Edward Jones. So in prep for that, it'll be things just to give you a little bit of what that flavor will taste like this story where a North Carolina man just did something incredibly rare, winning the lottery not only once, but twice. His first win coming in 2012. He wins again here in 2026, 14 years apart. First time around, he gets a prize jackpot of $259,000. Second time around, $117,000. You combine those two, he's made over $350,000 just here in 14 years playing the lottery. The odds of that, 1 in 962,598 to win once. The odds to win it twice, 1 in 926 billion. Probably better chance of getting struck by lightning. A meteor struck down in the United States. Did you hear about it? You can on the Daily Pulse. There's also people suing Costco. Know anything about that? You can hear about it on the Daily Pulse. We keep you informed here on WSJS. It's the Triad's news, talk, and sports station, and you can stream us anytime, WSJS.com. Keep it here throughout the rest of the day, and then you can see me Monday morning, 9 a.m. Or, again, next Saturday right here on Waking Up Raoul.
Survive and advance.
The number 1 overall seed, Duke, was challenged.